every Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gas, mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? You don't start about doing the things you usually do.
Yeah, that's watch me duck walking into the studio. That's Maybelline, the woman, not the mascara that we like to use on this show. That's a whole different thing. We save that for different times. So don't go getting crazy on me, all right?
Okay, you look good in it though.
Well, we try. You know, it takes away the bags. So listen, you've tuned into the Maybelline Hour, Long Island's only automotive talk show, Motormouth Radio, with your hosts, Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. We are fully vetted in the automotive community, at least among our friends.
Right, exactly. Friends and people that don't know us.
Exactly. And I'll tell you something right now, just to tie in something from our past. You're going to see I'm kind of supercharged, Chris.
I see this, and I'm very glad because I'm like running on fumes here. I've been suffering this cold, so I'm going to watch you.
They say meth is bad, but I just no. I'll tell you, it's something totally different. It's very organic, and you're going to love it. But
right
as we speak, something is happening here on Long Island,
yeah,
where guys are getting together. It's the president's meeting for the car club. The President's Council.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that group?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So they're meeting.
The drama that went along with it too, but I do remember
some history with that. Yes.
Okay.
We can talk about that in private if you like. You get it. I don't think I want to air that right now. But anyway, I had a lot of texting going on this morning, and one of the texts was with our buddy Detective Frank from the First over in from the Centauri Cruises.
Yes. Right? The Grand Poobah.
Exactly. So Frank got back to me separately and says, "Hey, by the way, I'm at the President's Council meeting. You want me to say anything?" I said, "Yeah, you can mention to him that we're open to having people from the clubs on the show.
Of course.
Like whatever." I said,
it's always a lot of fun.
That'll be fine. And I left it at that.
Right.
And then Frank said to me, "I'm sitting here with David Fulmer. I forget his. I'm sorry, I just killed his last name. He's actually the car editor from Newsday newspaper.
Oh, okay.
He did the column about cars, and I was in touch with him many years ago, and asked him to come on the show, and
he blew us off.
And he did. Yeah, I guess he did. He was busy, couldn't do it. So I said, "Yeah. Tell Dave, here, give him my information, send him my card, tell him to get in touch with me, and, maybe we could put something together." And Frank says, "Okay, it is done." So
Ooh, the Poobah.
I picture the sword.
Oh, yes. He pulls out the sword, wears his big blue hat with the horns on it, waves the sword around, and stuff gets done.
Yes.
Dig it.
So we may be talking with Dave in the future and have him on the show. That'd be great. That'd be nice. So that was the from the past. I also want to say, last week I was talking about, people calling in and like Dokk, who came back to the show after many years. I found out that we do have a pretty good stream, and I knew this. We have a pretty good streaming.
Doctors say we do.
Yes. Well,
sometimes in the mornings, not so much, but in the afternoon, you betcha.
And it makes sense because a lot of people are out of the area and they have to stream or they can't hear it. They're not terrestrial like we are. Mm-hmm. So
But we are for the hard of hearing when I go, our top story tonight.
Right.
Anyway.
I'm trying to think of a Garrett Morris line that, but I'm blanking. But anyway, so we do have a good amount of people streaming and people out there who listen who we don't hear from. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a friend, Rich. He was here from Long Island. I knew him years ago. He's in Boston. Now, we have communicated through the years and talked about, emailed car problems and stuff. And I don't talk to them all the time. I just found out this week. Yeah, by the way, through somebody else, through a mutual friend, the message was, hey, Rich says, by the way, he still listens and he loves the show. Hey, Rich, call in 516-572-7440. You know we love to talk about this stuff.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I was amazed when you told me that we were there complaining that no one was sharing and no one was liking and no one was commenting. And then you reach out to me and say, you know what? We got more comments, more shares, more likes. And I'm like, all we had to do is complain about it? You got to be kidding me. That was it?
Sometimes. And I'll complain about something else. After my talk last week about commenting on the YouTube videos, because this show does go up on YouTube at Motormouth Videos.
Yes.
I had said, the nice thing would be if we could have people commenting. I just want to add one little caveat. If you do comment, which is nice, just add your name. I'm looking at one and I think I know who the guy is, but he uses like his screen name. And that's back like in the days when we made email addresses that were like, that would pass the cryptic code because nobody could ever use their own name.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop your name on there so I can reply to you by your name. And also let me reply to this phone by saying, hi caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Yeah, my name is Bud. Hey, Ray.
Hey, John, how are you?
Hiya, John.
Really good. Chris, I was howling. You can't get terrestrial signal where you are in the Nutmeg State.
No.
And John, you can't get it where you are on Long Island.
Right. I got to drive, I'm going to say a good half hour, 35 minutes. Like Dick Hills, I start to pick it up.
Wow.
Okay.
So, John, you're in the North Shore?
Yeah.
So I could probably see your house from where I am.
The lighthouse switch.
What was that?
When I moved to where I am, all my friends from the Queens border thought I was working the lighthouse switch.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So you were on a fork.
No, I'm before the forks.
No, he was in the flatlands by the sod farms.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I can see your house from here.
There are hills between me and wherever the broadcast antenna is.
Well, the broadcast antenna is on the tower, John, here at the college.
Yeah.
So you ain't seeing that from your house.
And the scary part of that is there's something higher than that.
Bald Hill.
Somewhere around Dick Hills.
Okay. Well, I was going to say Bald Hill,
and
which
that's
is
even before you get to Bald Hill, which I think is the highest point.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, yeah. Line of sight is a great thing if you got it.
Well, that's the thing. So we know that we have a lot of people who stream, even local people. Well, right now our transmitter level is very low. We're having some issues, so people need to stream. I know my good buddy Rick in Oceanside. He's streaming. Of course, Brian, all the guys, Isaac, they're way out of state, so they have to. But they stream it. And just so let me get this clear so people will know, because someone did ask me. The popular streams, nccradio.org, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, the WHPC app will help you stream. We had a link right on our website, which is right now down. You can't use that. That would get you to it. And Spreaker, we go on Spreaker also.
Right.
So that's ways you can get the stream and and hear us. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually have you set up in my Sonos system, which is how I do all my audio in the garage. But you guys always come through crystal clear, other than when you have internet issues. And
right.
That
Well,
happens to all of us.
Well, that's the thing, John. As you very well know, being an IT guy, when you're on the stream, you're doing it over an internet-based signal. So if there's any internet issue at all, anything, now your stream signal is going to be
right. Now you're done.
Now you're like Chris sitting there saying, "Come on, damn it, let's go. I got things to do. Let's go."
Yeah, but they got sunspots too to screw with the terrestrial signal.
Yeah, well, that too.
You know, John, I've been in television for over 20 years, and they've always talked about sunspot issues. I don't think I've ever seen a single sunspot issue in a frequency on any of our networks. Maybe a little sparkle here and there. Everybody would freak out. Oh my God, sunspot. But it never really affected. So it's funny you should mention sunspots because I always thought they were a lot worse than what they were perceived to be. But they really, in my eyes, they really were.
You know, Chris, I'll tell you something. If you go back to like the CB days, you would get skip, which was basically sunspot activity where you could talk to someone in Amarillo, Texas from Bethpage. Because
wasn't it?
What's that?
That was cloud-based. It was bouncing off the clouds and coming back down.
It was still atmospheric. Yeah, atmospheric skip is what they called it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I would turn on the AM radio and race across the dial back and forth to find like WBZ in what, Chicago or with the some stations in Rhode Island. I would look for AM stations just trying to take advantage of the signal skip. Yeah, that was fun to me. To radio geeks like me, that was fun. That was
Chris,
Tuesday night.
Marconi did his first transmission transatlantic probably within a 10-minute drive of my house.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. Sure.
I can walk in probably about 3 minutes to where Tesla had his setup.
Yeah, very true. There was a lot that went on there. There was a lot that went on here.
And it's probably still glowing too, I'm sure.
It is. It is.
Well, then it was the nuclear power plant, but
right.
Yeah. Talk about glowing.
So anyway, my message to the streamers, whether we know you or not, is introduce yourselves. You know what? Send us a well, you could certainly call the show, or you could call it 516-572-7440 or text at.
Oh, you could. Is that my turn?
Cue the announcer.
Yes, thank you. Wake him up. It's 203-670-4127. That's right. Got thumbs? Use them.
Send us an email, mmr@ncc.edu, or visit us on social media, Motormouth Radio on Faccia Bruta Facebook or on X, and it's real _ Motormouth Radio on Instagram, and you can message us through there too. And we actually Jim love to talk with new callers.
Jim reached out to us, said he met myself and Ray at the President's Council meeting in 2010. Jim just texted us at 203-670-4127 to announce that fine, upstanding bit of knowledge.
I wonder what Jim that is. I don't know. Well, Jim, listen, call the show, call in and say hi. In fact, John, let me let you go. We got 3 lines lit up. We got callers calling. So
hey, Ray, the good news is there's no more echo in the phone line, although I'm on my cell phone today.
Right. Echo in the Bunnyman.
That's the one that you made out of. Which one? Is that the one you made out of Lexan plastic, or the one? Because the one you made out of wood is.
All right, John.
It's electrical.
Excellent, John. Thanks for that. Let me bounce. We'll talk soon. All right. Bye. All right. Let's go back to line 3 and say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, Chris and Ray, it's Rick from Oceanside. I just figured I'd give a quick call. You guys, it looks like a great show today.
There he is. How's it going, Rick? Of course, Chris, Rick and I communicate all week with Cliff. We have a nice little group text going that I don't know. I think, Rick, it's kind of cool. I think, it's usually car-based, but every once in a while we like to drive Rick a little crazy with the music.
The music's good. Ray and I, have a lot to talk about as drummers. We could talk since we've been playing since we were like 10 years old. So yeah, but the music is great. But the tool thing really got me crazy this week about how many of these tools that we go out, we buy these expensive tools. But I look back, and my dad was a mechanic, but he was more of a plumber, heater type of fixer guy, and he would fabricate everything pretty much to fix something. And that really got me into working on different things, got me to be handy. But Ray, you had a bunch of different things that you devised yourself.
Oh yeah. You know what? We always talk about the tools that we buy, but then the tools that we make and modify to do a certain job. And every once in a while we get together and share those on social media. I'll throw up a picture again this week. And you're right, Rick. It's, in all walks. I don't care if you're a plumber, a carpenter, a mechanic, you're going to do that.
Sure. No, I totally get it.
Mechanic when we were a kid. I'm sorry. I was going to say I had a mechanic when we were a kid. He was known as Benny the Hammer.
I love that.
He would whack everything with a hammer.
Right.
Benny
I
the Hammer.
saw him rip out an exhaust. I think I saw him take out an oil filter with a hammer at one point.
Oh my gosh.
And of course,
we didn't know much about cars, so I must have been, 12 years old, and I used to watch him. And he carried a hammer around. That was his tool to remove a lot of stuff.
and of course, Benny was from Brooklyn.
That's right.
Yes.
Of course.
Where the vast mechanical knowledge base comes from.
There's
yes,
a lot of guys walking around Brooklyn carrying hammers for various
exactly. For other reasons.
I know a few of them myself, but
yeah.
so
Yeah, right.
So Rick, maybe this year one of us will pick up one of these cars that Cliff sends us a link to, because he's always finding some crazy kooky stuff that are project stuff, and it'd be great to. Yeah.
It would be true. It's true. If we had, for me, if I had the space, knowing Ray's knowledge, I'd love to get like something that we could put together and maybe drop more modern engine into it and have time. But space is very critical, and not having the room to do these things, and doing it inside your garage in your house a lot of times is not the best thing.
Right.
So if you have a place, we'll find a car. And Chris, you could come in. We get Cliff and a few of the guys, and Ray. You'd be the guy to go to, and I think we could do that.
It's always it's something we always talk about, and I'd love to do it. Absolutely, Rick.
Yeah.
And maybe we could get a little riser set up in the back. We could have a little jam session segment for when the wrenches aren't flying. Actually, we could make a xylophone out of wrenches. We could probably make some cool musical instruments out of tools.
Get the cameras out, make a podcast. There you go.
Exactly, right.
And we got to add our friend Tony Kirk there, Tony Pedro, who could get in with the drums as well. So we got a few drummers who are also mechanics.
Actually, shout out to Tony. He just had a loss in the family, so we're thinking of him. I had a text message with him this morning, and all the best to Tony and his family. So going forward.
No, I didn't know that. I sorry to hear that about Tony. Yeah,
Yes.
I know his dad was sick. Yeah,
Right.
I know he was in the hospital.
So,
but hey, you guys, if you could get some other musicians to call in as well, mechanic musicians who play guitar and bass and keyboards,
right.
Maybe we could do something on the show one day.
That'd be interesting. All right, Rick. Let me. I'll work on that. Let me. Oh no, I just had another call. All right. Well, thanks for calling, Rick. I appreciate it.
All right. Be well. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Take care, Rick. Yeah, we'll be the only automotive talk show with a live band.
And I'm going to jump back to the phones, back to the fun, and say, hi, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to say, I'm listening on terrestrial radio, and I hear you great. It's Andre.
Oh, very good, Andre.
Hey, Andre.
Depending, you got to be close to the station because our signal right now is very low. We have a low power issue with the transformer. So I'm glad. Where are you from?
I'm in front of North Hall. So.
Oh, well, there you go. You're across the street. Yeah. Have you listened before, Andre?
Ray, it's Andre from that works here.
Oh, you're that Andre. Okay. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to you in a couple of years now. So.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I had the radio on. I was over at Home Depot, and I decided just to drive over and drive past and make the joke, and that's it, man.
Very good. Appreciate it, Andre.
Hearing you, man.
Excellent. Thanks, Andre. Thanks for the call. All right.
Thanks, Andre.
Excellent. And you know what? We're going to, I don't know if we're going to, let me see here.
Well,
so that's,
Ray,
you got to be
88 Fingers Leo over there is.
I'm telling you, it's like playing a piano,
Yeah. What are you doing?
You got to be careful because it's like you open the door in influenza. You never know.
Yeah, that's right. Ask not for what you want.
Let's try this again.
Go for it. Come on.
Let's go to the phones.
Take a gamble. Drive off a cliff.
You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Greetings from Montana, guys.
There's Dokk.
Hey. How are you,
Doc?
Hey, I want to apologize for not calling in last week. I slept right through the show. I woke up after it was over.
I do that all the time.
Doc, that happens to me too.
We all do that, Doc.
I'll sleep through the show, and Ray doesn't even know it.
Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. Hey,
oh, no, I do.
Last week, you guys were talking about the weather again, and it was 34 below zero here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, for crying out loud. You got to be kidding me.
No, the wind chill was 54 below, but today's not. It's terrible.
Let me ask you a question, Doc. How the heck are houses built where you live? I mean, do you have any kind of semblance of warmth and heat, or do you live is it like just a wind tunnel?
Well, all right. My house is a manufactured home.
Okay.
And, it's got all kinds of insulation.
It better.
I burn propane like crazy during the winter, but the house stays plenty warm.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I picture you lying under some sort of bear rug, some sort of woolen, big mammoth looking thing with horns on it. You're lying under it, you know, on this huge, massive, I don't know, log cabin sort of thing. I am not picturing where you are as anywhere near being hospitable.
I picture the last couple episodes of Breaking Bad. Yeah,
I never did see that show, but like I've told you before, all right, you know where the middle of nowhere is, right?
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, next to God's country.
Keep going. Yeah, keep going. You're on the outskirts of the middle of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like I told you, we're 80 miles from Walmart.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. That is amazing.
Everywhere else is like 10 minutes away.
You know, I'm laughing because I'm looking outside and I checked the weather here and it's going to reach 40 degrees here in Connecticut. And I was almost like overjoyed. Like, I'm going to go outside in a bathing suit. It's 40 degree 40. It's not minus 40. It's 40.
On my way here, I saw a guy washing his minivan and he was outside in a t-shirt and pants. And
yeah, I believe it.
And as I'm going by, I'm like, dude, it's not t-shirt weather yet. You know, it's nice, but not that.
Oh, when I lived in Minneapolis, it was frigid cold. That was as close as I ever got to Dokk. But it was like 22 degrees, and the guys playing basketball out there, shirts and skins.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's 22 degrees. Are you guys out of your mind?
Yeah.
So I understand it. When it's like thick
For the most
blood.
people, they don't know any different because most people here grew up and they lived here their whole life.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. You know, you do adapt. Just like when people, I know, you know, I know people, friends who lived up here their whole life and then moved down south. And in the first year, like, yeah, you know, I'm wearing a t-shirt, it's 40. Everybody's in big, heavy coats. And that lasts about a year or two. And then the blood thins. And next thing you know, like, yeah, man, I got a scarf on in like, you know, October. So it's all a matter of adaptation. So I get it.
I always think of
last week you guys were talking about the fishing department at Walmart.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a fishing department at our Walmart too, but they have ice fishing equipment.
Right, augers to drill through for the ice shack.
That's right.
That's cool.
Let's see. I got other stuff to go over with you. Hey, I got a couple of automotive questions for you.
What do you got? Here's one. Yeah.
Okay, I got a buddy. His wife drives it's about a 5 or 8 year old Plymouth Voyager.
Okay.
And it's got the lug nuts that have the how would you call it?
Plastic caps?
Yeah, the caps are over the nuts and then they rust and you can't get a socket on them.
Oh yeah. You know what? Fords are famous for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what the answer is, Doc. The tool companies sell half-size sockets now. So if it's a 19, you get a 19 and a half, or a 20, 21 and a half. It's very common because the Fords, especially the trucks, were notorious for that. Right. Or the thing to do is you get a set of turbo sockets, which are made to take off rounded or deformed nuts. If they get that bad, that's what you have to do. You bang those on with a hammer, take them off with an impact, and then you buy new nuts. You know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the half-size sockets work really well for that problem if the nuts are still in decent shape. And then I like to use just a little dab and never seize. They say not to do it because it changes the torque value, but you can actually modify your torque value to stay within spec if you do that, and then that'll help not have those nuts not rust to the stud.
Right.
Okay, that kind of socket you were talking about, not the half size, the other one.
Turbo socket. Well, they go by different names, and I think it's by manufacturer. I don't know who calls it turbo. I bought a set recently from who did I buy? Gear Wrench. and they have their own name for it. So everybody has their own proprietary name. It's the same type of a deal. If you look up turbo socket, you'll find it.
Yeah, is it possible to get the old lug nut out so you can reuse them again?
Yes.
Use it on the next. Okay.
Yeah.
You just back it off, and it comes right off. Yeah. You definitely can.
Sure. Yeah.
Once it starts loosening, then you back it off.
It really, you know what? I had to do a job on a friend's car years ago, and I didn't have those. They weren't available. And I had I went from various hand chisels to impact gun chisels to the torch. And I actually have the stub of that socket at home. And I'm going to put a picture up of it this week to show people what I'm talking about. That's what you had to do before the turbo sockets.
Yeah. The lug nuts are of a softer material, just because of what you're talking about. So you can basically mess with them. You could hammer something on them, and the socket isn't going to get sacrificed. The lug nut will.
Correct. And the turbo sockets are made to be hammered on. Like you wouldn't do that. You don't want to do that with a regular socket.
Yeah.
Most of us don't. But these are made to be hammered into place, and then removed.
But I was talking about getting the lug nut out of that so you can use it on the next lug nut.
It'll come right out. It's made to do that too. It's actually a very, very good design. Yeah, very good design.
Okay. The second question. F-150 pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the lug nuts off, but then you can't get the wheels off the...
There we go.
Oh.
Right. And that's when you sit on the ground and you use your feet and you kick on the tire.
Kick the heck out of it.
Or you take a big... soft, like a big rubber hammer and hit the interface between the rim and the reel. People do it all different ways. You could do like I did years ago when we had an 8-lug van at the shop, and I was banging and banging, and I called Mike Jr. over to help me, and he's banging back 4x4 in the back and banging, and then he realized you left a lug nut on. No, I was like, yeah, I took 7 off. I was like, oh boy, that was the dopey moment. But even if they're all off, wheels do get stuck. And I can tell you this, it's kind of up to you how you want to do it. It's you gotta hit them with something, and usually a block of wood and a hammer is safe, or a big rubber hammer is safe. If you can get from behind, that helps. And again, rim and tire interface. If you hit the tire, you're gonna bang it back and hit yourself.
Yeah, now, he uses a sledgehammer from behind.
Right, a sledge. But after that is where the trick comes in. And now what you got to do is you have to clean that face of the rim.
Yep.
And there's, you know what? I'm gonna post a tool that I got from Matco that does this. Well, that you just use like a roll-lock disc, but you want to clean the interface on the hub where the studs are. And that's the harder part. And that's where Matco and other companies have introduced this tool. It's a roll-lock disc that goes over the stud and cleans that hub. And then I use aluminum anti-seize, and I would put a light coating on the hub and on the back of the wheel, put it back on, and hopefully next time you don't have that problem.
Yeah, hopefully.
These are definitely cold weather problems, predicaments. And I know because we deal with this all the time in the Northeast. So Ray is very, very correct when it comes down to how to properly address these problems. Yeah.
And certain cars, like in my Mazda 3 that I had, that car had aluminum wheels, but in the winter I put on my steel wheels with snow tires. So the aluminum wheels never were driven in the snow or salt, yet the aluminum ones always got stuck on the car and the steel ones never did. So, and they were not in the environment where you would think would lead to that. So, yeah, all bets are off. But yeah, that's the ticket, Doc. That's how you do that. So
okay. Now, last week you were talking about self-service car washes where you do it yourself, and you weren't quite sure there is one in Plentywood up here. So.
Okay. Well, good. If we're in the area, we'll definitely stop by.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
I love self-serve car washes. They're awesome.
Very good. Excellent. Well, that's good because you got in under the wire. Now we got to jump. We got to take our bottom of the hour break. And we appreciate the call as always, Doc. We appreciate the interplay with.
And thank you for keeping tabs on our show, letting know what we talked about, because I have a clue what we talked about last week.
Talking about that, huh? Wow. Okay. Wow.
We talked about that, son of a gun.
One other thing, you can listen to this show on podcast later on, but it's usually not up for 2 days later.
Actually, this on Spreaker, this show will be up tomorrow. They're good about it here. I send the description in today, and the station manager makes sure it's up. It's always up on Monday. So on Spreaker.com, you can get it.
I've been listening on iHeart, and it takes 2 days.
Right, iHeart maybe a little, or go to the WHPC app. You could download that, or go to nccradio.org. It'll also because through the station it goes up faster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, Doc. Thanks.
Hey, talk to you soon.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.
That's all great stuff. And I tell you what, we're going to do in the second half, in the third half of the show. Program. I'm going to talk about, Cliff sent the thing out this week to Rick and I. It was a piece from Haggerty, 5 misused tools. So I want to talk about that. And I'm also going to talk about a tool that I talked about last week, but I have an in-studio demo for you today, Chris.
Ooh, see, I know a tool I misuse a lot, but I don't want to talk about that here.
No. You've made history on that one. I know.
Oh, yes.
So the book.
But I giggle a lot.
I know. The cross promotion book isn't here. So you know what? I'll tell you, listen to any show on this station. Thunder Road after us. Kim does Thunder Road Best of Springsteen. Everybody loves it. Our listeners, of course. People listen to Rob before us. They listen to Free For All, where you really do have an eclectic mix of all sorts of music from all genres.
And there's 2 different Rob Leonards.
Oh, there are.
I hope you know that.
Yeah,
there's Sunday morning Rob Leonard, and there's Friday night Rob Leonard on Beatles songs.
That's Beatles songs, right?
Yes.
I've met that guy.
And the Friday night Rob Leonard is totally different than the Sunday morning Rob Leonard. So check them both out. Compare and come back and
yeah, I'm updating stuff.
All right, thank you.
You can compare both shows and come back and talk to us.
Exactly. So I also have to look outside the WHPC weather window.
What do you see, Ray?
I see sun. Our weather today is powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. Today, sunny, and it's going to become cloudy this afternoon with a high of 44. I think they said a little bit of precipitation may roll in. Tonight will be overcast skies, low of 32. Tomorrow, we're looking at going up into the 40s by tomorrow, so that's going to be nice. So I'm looking forward to that. Do we have an honor group of the hour that you'd like to share?
Yes, we do. We do have a Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour this weekend. Try and keep up, all right? Because this was a lot of minutia here because I was delirious when I wrote it. If you appreciate the background vehicles in the chase scenes of period movies. Yes. If you're watching Bullet with Steve McQueen, do you count how many times the green Volkswagen Bug gets passed by the Charger and the Mustang?
Right.
When you're watching The French Connection with Gene Hackman, it shows a wide variety of street vehicles since none of them are movie cars. They're all civilian vehicles with no clue they were involved in one of the greatest chase scenes in history. Mm-hmm. I'm personally fond of the 69 Buick Electra. Popeye's Pontiac nearly misses on 86th Street, making the right-hand turn. The iconic chase in the 7-Ups with Roy Scheider racing through the streets of Manhattan had a mixture of stunt cars and civilian vehicles. Sharp eyes will pick out the same 71 white Ford Torino wagon in 2 different parts of the city. So if you pay more attention to the vehicles in the movie stars than the movie stars racing around them, then you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week.
That's very good. I do that as well. I always look at the background. I'm always looking behind the lens, or past the lens, so to speak, and you find some really cool stuff. So I like that. Good honor group, Chris. All right, we're gonna take our break, and we'll be back with the third half of the show. Talk about some tools, maybe misused tools, and the stuff I brought into the studio right here on WHPC 90.3 Motormouth Radio. Keep it where you got it. Ooh, do this.
Car not running right? Let the Motormouths help you out at 516-572-7440.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar lifetime nationwide warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
You're listening to the Motor Mouth.
Hey, Ray and Chris.
Did you guys read my mind?
Okay, I appreciate you having me on.
Wow, you guys finally figured it out.
Motor Mouth.
This is great. No more foolishness.
I miss my puzzles.
You're a funny guy.
I've been waiting for Sunday just to ask you guys this question.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
Well, good afternoon, guys. I need a little advice.
All right, so you got me to call in. All right.
I don't know everything. You know, you guys are mechanics. You guys have a great show. Thank you very much. I come with a tale of woe and a warning for the younger guys.
Chris is doing jumping jacks. He's getting ready. Ray is right behind me.
Every time I get off the air, I think,
Motor Mouth.
Oh, boy, they're never going to ask me back after that one.
Yeah, this is a collect call. How are you?
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
Oh, I probably called the wrong number. I was trying to get a hold of Ray.
And I wake up screaming.
So I'm very happy to listen to your good advice.
Yeah, I want to know what the is wrong with my car.
You know, break it down for us car guys. All right. See you next weekend.
Motor Mouth.
I know you guys usually speak Guido, and now you're talking Pintel and Yiddish, and this morning I happened to listen to the rabbi on your station. So it's all, you know, I guess today's Yiddish then.
Right.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Word of Mouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth.
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
John is right. Once again, you might learn something. You could do double bass like this. Well, not like that, but it was there before. You missed it because other reasons. But Chris, Chris just loves listening to stuff like this when he cruises around in Connecticut in that little tracker, and he's, got his dark glasses on, and
exactly. I have no reason to be medicated after listening to this.
What was that?
I have no reason to be medicated after listening to that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so medication aside, we are going to talk about, you know what? I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put the Haggerty article, we'll do that last, because if we don't get to it, I can always get to it. Next week because it's kind of see, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get
boy,
yeah,
can't get involved.
you never know what's going to happen.
Can't get involved. That's why you got to keep it short and sweet. You should.
Yeah, let's go back to the phones and say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, it's Ron from Clinton. How are you?
How are you, Ron? Good to hear.
Hey, Ron.
Same here. How's it going?
Excellent.
All right, so being you guys are talking about like cold weather, being from central New York, we've had one heck of a winter up here.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
We did, or we're still having it. But anyway, so last week, wife and I went down to Florida for a bit and came home, and she has a 2017 Mercedes GLC 300.
Okay.
And the car sat for about a week in the barn. And when we go to start it, it was dead. I mean, dead.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so I charged it and got it going and brought it to the local battery place so they can test it. Battery was 2 years old, and they said there's nothing wrong with it. The car went in sleep mode because it went below 12 volts.
Yeah. What brand battery is it, Ron?
It's a Dekka.
A Dekka. You know what? I've been wanting to try a Dekka battery. I have not to this date, but I've heard they're very good.
But the only thing now, she short drives this car.
Right.
Half a mile goes to work, stop, half a mile comes home, whatever. And we've had that conversation, and
Right.
we didn't know where that went.
Yeah, exactly. It went to a shortened battery life. That's where I think that conversation went.
Right, and then couldn't make her walk to work and just inconvenienced me. So, but have you heard that? Because the car kept the presets and everything, like on the radio and whatnot, but it wouldn't even like open the door. Like I had to manually open the door, and this thing was stone cold.
Yeah, I have heard of that. And below 12 volts is kind of an ominous sign. Of course, a battery's going to go below 12 volts as it starts to discharge. Right. But how far below? There's got to be a threshold limit that was reached.
In which then the car just goes. Okay.
Well, yeah,
not even like click, 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 or anything like that.
It was just a stone.
No, it does it sequentially. Yeah, like at first you'd have like a slow crank. Depending when you check it is what you get. Because you're not checking it every minute of the day. At some point, yeah, it would be. I'm sure a quick jump just revived it and got the thing live again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, on car now that car can't be left alone for a couple of weeks in the cold.
So but also, Florida and she stays home.
Well, there's one way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll help.
Or invest, keep the marriage happy, and invest in a battery tender.
Yeah, those are for the good cars.
Okay. Well, listen, I keep it on even my crappy cars because I don't want to deal with the dead battery. So
Ron, just get this car on a highway every once in a while. I mean, put some juice back into it. The alternator doesn't even have a chance.
Right. No, because I've had the conversation with her that we can't short drive the thing all the time.
Right.
It is what it is.
You know what? My wife short drives her car too, and it's funny because I put the gas in it, and I used all of the last tank of gas that was in the car. And I noticed that not only did the check engine light go out when I was driving it fully, but now the mileage went up by 5 miles to the gallon. So everybody drives different. And it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, she's never going to go on a highway. She's never going to do longer drives with it. So it's just the way it is. So I intervene and I take the car and use it. And in your case, if you can't or aren't going to do that,
when we go away, stick it on the battery.
Yeah, do what I do. Get it and give it to her for like a birthday or Christmas, or make it a present. Like here, hun, for Valentine's Day.
Oh, nothing says love like a battery charger.
I gave my wife a traffic camera that Rick had one nice car that I liked. I bought it and I gave it to her. I said, like, oh, this is to keep you safe, dear. This is
yes, Ron. Rudy Valentino over here. The romantic god.
Well, and of course it comes with free installation because who's going to pull the interior part but me?
Right.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not thinking like when next time we go away that she'll be plugging this thing in. It's for me. So maybe she should buy it for me then.
Well,
there you go.
I still think you should get it. This way it takes care of one of those gifts that you never know when you never know what to get.
Oh, okay. So next time I'm in the doghouse, just give her a battery tender.
Good idea.
Okay, that works.
Excellent.
Next time I'm in the doghouse, give her a battery charger.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, there's advice you can't get anywhere else.
Right. Good deal, Ron.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. So, but they are correct, though. So the car will go down.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
See ya.
All right. So last week, if you remember, we talked about. I don't know how we did it, but I was talking about pressurized. You were talking about using fluids. Oh, no. Your white spray paint. Because somebody commented on your white spray paint where you said it's always.
Oh, I got a can of white spray paint. I don't know what in the world. It's years old and I still use it. It's shaking. It's empty. I got a can of black. It's black epoxy paint. It's VHT, I think it's called.
All right. Well, listen.
Yeah,
we don't have 15 minutes left. This isn't about your spray paint.
Okay,
this is about the tool demonstration.
Okay,
so let me get through this.
Go.
I'm afraid. So I told you I have a device that can pressure. So we had response on that. Somebody wrote about that who said he always ends up with liquid but no aerosol. I said, well, you know what? You can buy a device. You can buy one of these.
Yes.
Right. This is a
rechargeable aerosol spray can.
Now this one came from Harbor Freight. It was not that expensive. I don't remember how much. Or
if I'm not mistaken, they're about $20.
You can step up to the plate and do it the nice way. Get one of these.
Ooh, that's a thermos.
Right?
What is that? It's a refillable aluminum spray bottle.
So this one's from Matco Tools. Of course, Matco man Brian graced me with this. Now, this one is cool. It looks like something you'd get stuck from the TSA with if you had it with you because it looks like a bomb.
Right.
It's a heavyweight aluminum. It has a filler knob on the back. What you do is it's so simple to use. It has a regular spray nozzle at top, which you can remove.
I can see that. Okay.
Here we go. You just remove the center piece.
Right.
Doing this live on air.
Yeah, look at you.
Here's your liquid of choice. This could be brake cleaner. It could be.
We're using water here in the studio. I'm using
water. Right. This could be brake cleaner. It could be a penetrant. It could be paint. It could be a lot of different things.
To other radio people out there, don't try this at home.
So now you have to charge this thing. The Matco one didn't say how much to use. Actually, the Harbor Freight one said like 50 pounds.
Well, so what are you charging it with?
I have my Milwaukee tire inflator with me.
Look at you.
So
Mr. Boy Scout.
I'm only going to go to 10 pounds. And I'm gonna now charge this thing up.
Now, what are you using to plug in there? Is like a regular valve connection?
The hose on this thing, it's a brass screw terminal. I converted it to a quick disconnect.
Got it.
Because I'm doing a lot of cars.
Oh, so now, it's got a screw. It's got a male screw terminal at the back of it.
On the bottom,
I can't see it from here. Oh, son of a gun! Look at that.
So that's the inflator.
That's my belly.
Okay. That's 10 pounds.
That was it?
I didn't close it all the way. Jeez. So now with 10 pounds of pressure, wait a minute. You know what? I blew because I didn't have the thing tight. Now
it went flat.
All my papers are wet. You do that again. There's the inflator, Milwaukee's finest. You know
right.
What that sounds like that's done.
That's done.
So now.
And you went, which is nice. It's always good to do that.
I don't know if you can see this.
No, I didn't see it. Don't spray it on the board. Oh, wow. Look at that. It is spraying.
So now you have 10 pounds of pressure behind that liquid.
That's fantastic.
That is a great tool. And I'll tell you what, I have the both of them and I've yet to use them. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because me, in my crazy mind, I want to dedicate one to I don't want to have to keep cleaning it out and changing the,
Oh, it's a pain. Yeah.
And I could never decide what fluid to dedicate to the unit. I think I'll use Brake Clean for one, because you buy Brake Clean and you always end up you throw the can out when you're done.
Sure.
So I'm just extinguishing my my can here. So that's a great little tool. All right, it works well.
Yeah, I just got a picture painted in my mind, and please talk about something else.
I will.
I don't want to see you extinguishing.
I know. So that, anybody can, you don't have to buy, I like the Matco one better. I prefer that. But the Harbor Freight one, like you said, is probably less expensive.
Yeah.
And it solves that problem. And you can clean them out.
Years back, they used to sell in body shops and paint stores. They used to sell, it was a red and white can of just aerosol. And at the bottom of it, it had a clear bottle. Mm-hmm. And you'd screw in the clear bottle in the back of it, or the bottom of it. And you were able to dispense paint from a can into that. But once it ran out, Like you couldn't recharge it again. This is fantastic.
Right. That was a one-shot deal that you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you had a certain amount of time. I mean, I can't tell you how many cans I needed to buy to like shoot a fender or shoot a hood or whatever I was shooting in the comfort of my own garage or in the backyard, whatever I was doing. But something like that's very cool.
Thursday night, playing traffic, Brian had mentioned that he uses the he had a name for it, and I don't remember. The guys in the body shop, we have them at the shop. It's a big plastic bottle with a nice big handle on it, and you spray, and the guys always keep Prepsol in it usually, because like when they want to, if they sand the panel, when they want to paint, they hit it with Prepsol, wipe it off, and they use that, and they have the Prepsol, of course, in gallon bottles.
Right, which is fantastic because that alone takes time to, when you don't have that tool handy, to get the Prepsol, wipe it down on the fender, to prepare it for paint. It takes a certain amount of time. It's so much easier if you had something dedicated to spray on, wipe it down, done. Takes you minutes instead of hours.
Take the can and hit the rag and then spill it. So yeah, so these things are great. You can get one. I like the Matco one because it's thicker. It's really robust. But the Harbor Freight offers a cheaper alternative that you may want to lock at.
Matco Man Brian just chimed in at 203-670-4127. He said Sure Shot is the name.
Sure Shot, right? That's it. Yes, right. Yes. Okay. And One Shot.
Thank you, Brian.
Was a paint type of thing. So, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if we should get into this Haggerty thing. You want to talk about 5 misused tools as according to Haggerty.com?
I'm in.
We'll have to do it quick because we're gonna run out of time. This is
want like a timpani or something? You need like a drum roll?
If I had a drum, I would do it. Yeah. So this is not all listed Haggerty's. They said the number one, and I don't think it was ranked in order, but their number one item was a screwdriver. Using a screwdriver as pry bars. Brian talks about this all the time. Like,
oh gosh,
you know what? That's right. Everybody uses screwdrivers for pry bars. Now the tool companies have come out with even little, small. I have a set of little pry bars, micro pry bars, instead of using a screwdriver. So they're not pry bars. Duh, we know. Our good friend Clay Kuhn on his channel on YouTube, he was talking about this a while ago with his Snap-on guy. When the guy showed him a new set of screwdrivers, he says, you know, if you think about it, a lot of guys really don't need to buy screwdrivers anymore unless they're buying them as pry bars. He says, how many straight slot screws have you seen on a car recently?
Oh, gosh.
Think about it. None, right?
None.
Phillips said yes, but not straight.
Yeah,
so the straight
unless
slot
you're taking apart a
screwdriver-
stove bolt Chevy, that's about
yeah,
it.
so the straight slot screwdriver is kind of going away the dodo bird but we all have them and we all use them.
Well, I always remember Craftsman, which would give you any money back for any tool that was busted, wouldn't take back a bent screwdriver. They would take back a snapped one, but not a bent one.
So make sure you really do it good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Really mess it up.
Number 2, which I've seen this, I'll admit to have doing it, but only in a pinch.
But what about the tool?
That too, but no, using a extension as a punch.
Oh,
I actually have extensions that I will do that with, not my good ones. I would never use one of my good ones. They're expensive, but I have some older ones that I have used in a pinch, like I said, but I have enough punches where I go to the right tool.
Right. I've never used an extension for a punch.
What happens that the drive end where you put the ratchet eventually gets smushed over. You can't put a ratchet on it anymore. So now it's a dedicated punch.
If I need a punch, I use a Phillips head screwdriver.
Use a Phillips head, right? Okay, number 3 on their list, and this is what just what we were talking about before. What Rick was talking about: using a claw hammer. Having a claw hammer in any toolbox for any reason is verboten in automotive work, because a claw hammer does not. But then they went on to say that some guys will actually use that claw hammer to lift like an intake manifold off of a head.
Okay. No, I would pry it with a screwdriver.
There you go. I even have a bent screwdriver that I can do this. And I'll tell you the truth, that's not a bad idea. But now the tool companies have come out with different pry bars, some of them with heads that you can turn and move to pry things up. But yeah, the claw hammer, that just kind of looks out of place. It's like when I see a hose clamp, a worm greer hose clamp on a motorcycle. I'm like, no, it doesn't belong there. You need an Number 4, this was an ingenious one. I really didn't think of this. I guess they're going modern. Using an OBD scan tool, which can be very expensive these days if you have a top-line scan tool.
As a hammer?
No, using it just to put out the check engine light because you're not doing diagnostics with it. Just like, let's shut that light off. Okay, well, let me get this $3,000 tool for that.
Just to shut the light when your $90 Alltel can do it just as fine.
You know what? Your 2-cent paperclip can do the same thing in the ALDL. You can.
Oh yeah, well on my 1990 Pontiac,
you can do it on your modern car too if you wanted to.
Oh really?
And number 5, this was pretty interesting. Using a jack handle, the handle off your floor jack, as an extension to pry a ratchet or something. And the guy in the comments,
guilty.
He says, he goes, I have a 2-foot-long breaker bar because that's the tool of choice for that. He says, and sometimes that's not enough. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not. You know what? I've had some Mercedes come in that the wheels get torqued to like 130, 150 pounds.
Oh, mother.
And the guys at the shop, they wrap them down even more. I had to buy from the Snap-on guy a 4-foot breaker bar.
Wow.
Let me tell you, that mother, if that mother don't break it loose,
nothing will.
Go home and make a sandwich because you don't want to know what's hiding under that mess.
No, exactly.
So there are longer breaker bars. Yeah.
My claim to fame was I had a fence post.
Yeah, right. With the concrete on it, right?
That had exactly. It had the concrete on it.
Right. There you go.
That was my mother right there.
Yes.
Actually, I sold that with the house in Brooklyn. I don't think my wife would let me bring that along.
Yeah. Well, that's galvanized. That's pretty strong. But yeah, again, a power adder, as I guess you'd call that. It's not verboten. It's not something you wouldn't do because now they do make wrench extenders, and I own one. Again, I bought it from Matco. It's a wrench extender. It's about I guess it's about what, 16, 18 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
The guys will put 2 wrenches together. I've seen guys put 5.
That's crazy.
They use like 6 wrenches together, but that's just for.
Yeah, that I never understood that the physics in that.
It makes it. You put the closed end of the wrench over the over the wrench, and you can make 2 wrenches
over the box end.
Yeah,
you can make
the
open end. Yeah,
so,
never. You put the open end over the box end, and you're able to use it
actually,
as
the box end over the open end.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Right. And the other box end is on the fastener,
Mm-hmm.
and it works. You know what? I've done it rarely because you got a lot of wiggle, you got a lot of room for error there.
A lot of knuckle busting.
Buy a wrench extender. I got one from Matco, which I love. It's a really nice tool. I happen to be in AutoZone ordering something for the shop, and I happened to turn around, and on one of their racks, they had a rack of those tools on on cardboard cards. They're selling it for $20. It was a Duralast tool for 20. I said, "Wow, for $20, that's a good deal."
And I go to Home Depot and I get them on sale for like $8, and you get a piece of threaded pipe about that long, and that's it, done.
That's the thing people don't realize about you. Let me explain.
Tell me.
Being from Brooklyn, raised as a kid in Brooklyn, you don't feel comfortable unless you have a piece of pipe in your pocket.
Exactly.
Right. It's called like the Tommy knocker, right?
It's the enticer.
The enticer.
It's the intention getter.
Yes, that'll work.
It's the first thing you meet.
Yeah. My little friend.
In a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's we got all that content out. We had a lot of phone calls. I'm glad. Thank you, listeners and people, for calling and texting.
Yes.
Great. That's what we like. We love the interaction. And follow us on, like I said, social media. Look at this show later on YouTube. It'll be up this afternoon. And comment. I will reply. Chris won't.
Yes, I will reply.
Actually, Vince has been sending me, he always sends me tons of pictures of cars. Like, hey, Chris would like this car. I said to him, hey, you know what? Text him yourself.
I love Vince. Yeah, throw me right to the wolves. That's fine.
I sent you the last one, which was pretty cool. It was a 71 New Yorker,
72, yeah.
I thought it was that was a cool car.
Yeah. No, it was.
Yeah.
Something I have. There's Chrysler people are funny people, and I can't go past 71 because everything changed in the inside of the car. Okay, so it's to get into the minutia. We need another couple of hours on this program, and I won't even go.
Nobody cares.
But I do appreciate Vince taking the time and the trouble to reach out and to try and help my cause. It is truly appreciated.
The real point is this is people, friends, communicating with the show, being part of the show, helping out, and just being part of it. And that's what we like. This isn't just us. We don't want to get up here and talk every week. We love to have the interaction and and that,
because it makes the show better.
Oh yeah,
it makes the show better. It makes it flows the information, makes it flow better, I should say. And we love learning about other people's faux pas and foibles. Like
so we can copy them and do it even better.
Exactly.
Worse, better. So listen, what do I tell the people waiting for me out in the parking lot while when I get out of here today for 2 minutes?
Don't follow us home unless you have a comment.
Or a piece of pipe in your pocket.
Ooh,
I ain't telling you what I'm carrying today.
Okay, good. No, don't.
Pipe. So listen, for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with more. Check YouTube later, Motormouth Videos, and we'll be back next week on 90.3 WHPC.
See you, bye.
Bye. This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside.